So, when looking to grow your business, there are many options available to you. Working alongside another company is a commonly used method of growing your resources, offering and audience. There are, however, a number of key considerations to look into, and I'm joined now by Mark Addy of Business Link Surrey to take us through some of these. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. So tell me, in terms of businesses achieving short-term growth, long-term growth, what are the options available in terms of a partnership?
Well, there's a number of things that companies can do, but the first thing they ought to do is complete a strategic plan so that they know exactly what they're looking for and where they want to be in whatever timescale it is that they're looking at. So a business may be looking to grow in financial terms over a 5-year period, and they can then look at joint ventures and other types of partnership agreements in order to get to where they want to be. But they need to have a proper plan first so that they can actually discuss with future partners exactly what they can bring to the table and what they're looking for in a partnership. Okay,
so let's go back to first principles. Why on earth should a business consider going into a partnership in the first place?
There's a whole host of reasons. It could be financial. They need a bit more financial strength. They might be looking at tendering for a specific contract and they don't have the resources within their own company to actually achieve or to win that type of tender. And it may be that they might need extra management skills, which they don't have in-house. And so to form a strategic alliance or a partnership with another company might bring any one or all of those things to the table.
Okay, so in terms of partnership, there are lots of different ways of doing it.
Yes.
What sort of forms are there?
Well, we sort of put them under the umbrella of joint ventures. And they can form a joint venture company between the two companies, which would be a legal entity and have a sharing with directors and other staff, and it becomes a legal entity sharing profits and risks and losses, etc. There are other less formal arrangements that can be made, but even if they're entering into a less formal one, they must approach a solicitor or a specialised firm of solicitors to draw up any agreement so that it's actually in legal form. You don't want to be doing business over the long term on a gentleman's agreement or an oral or verbal agreement.
Really? Why would you suggest that?
It's in order to make sure that all the little points are put down on paper. What is the parent company bringing to the table? What is the partner bringing to the table?
Yes.
How are they going to share the risks, the profits, the losses which may occur? If it's a short-term venture, they may want to be looking to do something to develop a product, for instance, so they need to look at intellectual property rights. You know, who ultimately owns the developed product once it's finished and finalised and put on the table, and then who markets it and how is the share of the profits and the money.
So I imagine it's not always a success story. I mean, sometimes, of course, this could be problematic.
It can. The most common reason is that everybody gets all the strategic bits put together and they tie up all the things that they want to do and the profit and everything else, and then there is purely a clash of personality.
Okay.
So you get two companies coming together, and especially where they are companies that are run by a sort of single managing director, and then all of a sudden they're in a partnership and one of them is going to be the boss of the other, effectively, because he may become the chairman, the other guy becomes the managing director, and unless all of those things are ironed out personality-wise, that can create huge problems, and that's often the case when partnerships break up.
Now, in terms of partnerships, do you tend to see competitors getting together, or they tend to be companies that can offer different services?
The best and most successful ones are companies that are not too similar to start with. They need to bring together skills that either one of them don't have, so that when they join together, they create a stronger entity. So it's, yeah.
And in terms of success, which is something that we all want, what do you believe is the best way of achieving success through a partnership?
It's having the planning done. The planning is the most key part of the whole issue, because you do a plan for the business either singly or jointly, where you want to be in the 3-year period or the 5-year period or along that route, what the cash flows are going to be, and the strategic plan. You know, where is that partnership going to take the businesses ultimately, and how they're going to get there. One really sort of pertinent case in point at the moment is London 2012, where the government are looking to get lots of small businesses in the southeast to tender for contracts. Now, quite often, if you sign up to their website, a contract tender will come out and it will specifically say, we want more than one business to join forces to deliver this particular product or service. One that came up recently was a printing tender. So it's encouraging businesses to actually form these strategic alliances, joint ventures, and it needs to be looked at as to how is best for them to go down that road.
So set it up carefully, make sure there are no surprises.
Correct.
Now, say, for example, a company then thinks, OK, I need to find a partnership. This is a good way, say, for example, for that sort of tender. How do you go about looking for the right partner?
There are lots of different ways. You can start off, I think, probably by networking amongst your existing contacts. If that pulls in no potential partners, go to people like the Chambers of Commerce, who are nationwide, and they have hundreds of networking events, breakfasts, seminars, all sorts of things where you can meet like-minded businessmen. Look at your competitors and to see if there's a company that isn't completely similar to yours, that has skills that you require and that skills that you can offer to them. There may be other business networking clubs, business groups. Trade associations is a very strong one. If you're part of an industry sector that has a particularly good trade association, you could approach them and see what businesses are under the umbrella of the trade association. Okay,
so say for example you want to do all of those things, where can you get more help? Where can you get more resources from?
Obviously Business Link, who are again available nationwide, and they will help you put together the strategic plan, do a bit of diagnosis on the business as to where you are now and where you want to be, and to see if the joint venture route is right for that particular business. Because it may be that a company identifies what they perceive as a problem, and their perceived way of dealing with it is to go into a joint venture or a partnership, and in fact that isn't actually the real problem. So it's careful planning and looking at those sort of things. Business Link, Surrey Chambers, or Chambers of Commerce rather, other government departments like UKTI if they're looking for partnerships abroad. The UKTI is the trade and industry sector, and they can help with looking at companies overseas.
Wonderful stuff. Thank you very much indeed.
Okay.